I get the privilege of talking to one of my inventor mentors here, one of my heroes, Time Magazine's top 100 inventors of all time, right here, like in this conversation. If you had a chance to talk to any inventors from history, if it's not Edison and Tesla and Marconi, who do you really look up to? Who should other innovators, aspiring innovators, or current innovators study, other than you, of course? But you're not going to say yourself because you're too modest. So I'll say you, and now you give me another person that they should look into.
I hate to use this as an example because I don't understand him, but Elon Musk has got to be some kind of a genius in this area.
Sure.
I have met him. I've heard him speak. Both of those events were not events. The only thing he has demonstrated is he really does understand the nature of the products that he's gone after. And he is relentless. And he certainly doesn't fear failure, for sure. And so far he is just doing incredibly. The only problem with Elon is he seems to have a huge ego, and ego is a part of this thing we're discussing. You have to be careful of. You need ego to get past the skeptics, the naysayers, but on the other hand, your ego can give you a feeling of power that you don't have and maybe shouldn't have. What I like about the Elon Musk story is that when necessary, he really got in and got his hands dirty. I don't know how much he contributed to the crisis they had on the factory floor building the Tesla car. But he actually had a cot there and did sleep there overnight. At least that's the myth. And I have to tell you, Jacob, that I have done that in my career. So I spent nights working on stuff. I took a week of vacation off, and my wife didn't like it very much, but I took a week off and spent it just sitting in the manufacturing area and working with the people and trying to understand what the nature of the quartz crystal manufacturing business was, because you cannot manage those things and predict them without really understanding. And understanding is not all that easy.
Yeah, I don't think any meaningful product that has really made an impact on humanity ever got away with following a schedule, being delegated down, and not having, the lead inventors and the lead visionaries rolling up their sleeves, sleeping on the floor, and getting it off the ground. You need that relentlessness, you need that passion, and you do need teams to get there. And you know that very well, because you really worked with the team to invent the phone, and you're very clear about that. It wasn't a one-person show. Can you talk a little bit more about innovation and how you innovate with a team concept in mind?
The first issue, of course, is having the concept and believing in it and having the evidence to support it. But you're quite right. I could never have done anything without people. When you talk about the team, first of all, I was extraordinarily fortunate in getting to work at Motorola because they tolerated me for 29 years. And boy, did I not fit into the corporate mold. I was just never, ever a corporate guy, even though they kept giving me titles. They kept knocking themselves out to come up with a corporate role that I could fit into. And they would put me in these. I'll give you an example. I'm getting off the subject, but
Oh, please.
They recognized that I was really good at conceiving of ideas, of understanding them. I could lead teams very well. I was really not very good at managing the P&L. So they assigned a guy who really was good at it, and as assistant general manager of this division. And here I am, the general manager. And it turns out it was a total failure because this guy got into this role and he looked at all the fun that I was having, and he wanted to be just like me. So that doesn't always work out. But certainly one of the issues is you need investors or management that will support you. And they are part of the team no matter what. And the only challenge there is that a lot of people like venture capitalists who have big egos will decide that they know more than you do about the business. And they'll start trying to do your job, and that doesn't work out well. At the other end, if you don't have a team of people, first of all, that are confident, you ought to forget it. So, and that's one of the challenges there is hiring people and getting them to believe the vision. Once that happens, the thing develops a life of its own. You don't have to convince people to work overnight and sleep on the floor. If they believe in the vision, they believe in the management, they will build up their own enthusiasm. And that is what happened with our team. Just to remind your audience, we actually, from the time I had the idea of we ought to take on the Bell system and actually demonstrate a handheld portable telephone to the time we actually had one working was only a little over 3 months. And the guys really had to kill themselves. So they had two challenges. One is at the very beginning, even the guy who was leading the effort, Don Linder, he was very unsure that he could do it. I was sure he could do it, but I didn't have the confidence to do it. But he said all he could tell me was that he was going to do his very best. So even with that uncertainty, he put his life into it, and together we communicated that to the rest of the team. And without that enthusiasm, dedication, nothing would have happened. I hate to put it that way because it sounds a very unscientific and very emotional. And I believe very strongly in the whole concept of evidence and objectivity, but you do need a little emotion, don't you? And I know you practice that yourself at New Current.
There's too many things that get in the way of, just if it's just logic driven. I think innovation's too hard. I think that making things that don't exist is too challenging. If you don't have some greater purpose, or if you don't have some emotional commitment to it, there's just easier ways to make a living, or there's easier ways to go about doing a 9 to 5. You don't get into innovation because you want the easy path. You get into it because you want to make a difference. You want to make a change. And you have to be driven by that, because it's definitely not the easy path to take.
Yeah, well, you're absolutely right. But it's also very rewarding when you do succeed. If you're take chances, which I've done all my life, there are a lot of downs, but those ups are really wonderful. Yeah. And I hope that you're in a mode of the up side of your business as well.
I think sometimes it's hard as an entrepreneur to always step back and celebrate the ups, because there's always paranoia about the next one and keeping moving forward. But yeah, when you see your product on a shelf, for you, for us, we're not the technology, we're, the technology inside of products, whether that's a Honeywell device or a Whoop wearable or Klipsch audio products or whatever it is. Sometimes nice to see our logo on their box that says powered by New Current. It really, those are things you can celebrate and be really proud of. But I do need to take a little extra I need to take a little extra discipline to celebrate the ups, because no one really needs to give me extra motivation to be passionate about inventing new ways of users to experience electronic devices, or improving the quality of devices, reducing failures, improving functionality. That's easy. That's natural for me. It's a little harder for me to stop, take a breath, celebrate with the team, and recognize what we've accomplished. But sometimes these types of conversations are the best reminder that it's important to, just look backwards and see how far you've come in the last 3 months or the last 3 years, because it is really remarkable. And, to be able to celebrate that with your team I guess it's really one of the things that you're doing it for. So I appreciate the reminder, but I do need it relatively frequently.
Yeah. Well, I understand it, and what's remarkable about the progress nuclear has made, and my purpose here is not to pump up nuclear. We're here talking about innovation, but you've got so many competitors that, and I'm a strong advocate of competition, keeps you on your toes, but that makes your job all the harder,
Mhm.
and it makes you, I think, makes you sharper than you would have been otherwise.